Welcome. That's my take podcast today. We're going to be coming back at you with another team evaluation. This is going to be the fourth episode of team evaluations. Today we have Pat Berg, or also the real PDB on Instagram. Rock with the IG name, but the real question is, do I rock with the fantasy team? So,
Aren't rocking with Chris Carson, I can tell you that much. He just retired.
yeah,
Paper or wire?
but all right, let's jump right into it. I guess I'll get started. So right off rip, 12 team Superflex tight end premium. Was this the league that he had 2 points for tight ends, or was it just tight end premium in general? Probably
I'm
should
not
look at
sure.
this. No,
I
just
believe
regular
it
tight
was
end
just
premium. Okay.
premium.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they have 4 round rookie drafts. He didn't specify which year this was going into, pretty sure, but he did say that this was not a true contender and he was looking for ways to boost his team. So, we'll start with that right now. I guess we'll jump right
Well,
into it. Obviously, it's clear and he knows he has a good roster, but not a great roster. Um, at least we'll put it this way, in my opinion, good outside of running backs. His running backs are horrendous, if I can sum it up in one word. Um, Everything else looks pretty good to me. I actually really like his receivers. Um, Quarterbacks I like a lot, and tight end obviously Kyle Pitts is probably the best, if not second best. Him or Andrews 1 and 2, however you put it.
Mhm. Now, what? Yeah, I mean, I like you said. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wide receiver heavy. Running backs, not great, but at least the first step is understanding where his team's at, and he clearly understands how good his team is.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I. All right, Steve, you can go on your first initial
Uh,
thought, and then we can get
yeah.
into how we would improve the team.
Okay, I have a trade idea, so I'll probably just give my thoughts and then go first for trades. My thoughts, obviously, like they said, it's not going to be much different because that's just what it is. You're good at quarterback. Stafford, you'll have him for a couple years of elite play. Herbert, you will never have to have another quarterback one, but you might have to replace Stafford at some point. Running backs, man, you stink. You have one running back. So um, if this is where my trade would come into mind, my initial thought was since you have Claypool already, I would look to move Deontay Johnson at peak value on top of a 2023 second round pick for the best possible running back you can get. Or if you don't like that, I would trade Elijah Moore in a second.
So I wouldn't trade Elijah Moore personally. I also was on the train of trading Deontay Johnson.
Okay, cool.
Um, Alongside of 2023 second, I guess that's fine. Now, I guess we can get into before, since we're on the same page, and if Gavin, you think he should go in a similar route, or what would you first? You think trading Deontay is a good idea?
Um, Honestly, on any of those top receivers, those top three. I don't think it's a bad idea to trade, but if you're looking to get the best running back possible, I think it's pretty easy that trade Johnson.
So, okay, so I was considering, or not considering, I'm trying to look into what he could do. Um, I think, honestly, if I'm gonna trade Deontay, you could trade him straight up for maybe a guy like Saquon Barkley.
That's
Maybe
exactly who I would have said too.
maybe try and get like ETN straight up for him. If you do want to package him with a second round pick, I think you try and get an elite tier player, more like see if you can maybe do Deontay in a second for a guy like maybe I don't even know Javante Williams, DeAndre Swift range maybe. Um,
I think you'd have to give up more than a first and a second in value.
he probably would, but there's a chance he might not, depending on who has them.
I don't
Um,
know. Yeah, no, it's a good, like shoot for the moon, land in the stars. I get it.
I don't think.
Or if you really like Brees Hall, you might be able to pry him away from somebody if you do a second.
I wouldn't hate that at all,
That's fair
but
too. I think.
I
I
would
think.
try to do a. Mm,
I think
no,
Saquon, ETN, and Akers are my top three. Like I would target these guys.
Yeah, like in general,
If you
you're
wanna
gonna hear us
contend.
talk about those guys a lot because
said-
they're the most available for the right price.
You said Akers and who else?
ETN and
ETN and
Saquon.
Saquon.
Yeah. It's
And
gonna be hard to get somebody to trade ETN, but and I'm not a fan of Akers, so personally I would
Yeah.
be more
I have
willing to trade
2
him.
shares of ETN now, and I don't think I'll trade him in either league I have him.
I do think next if you go in the contending route, because you said ways to boost, so I'm assuming you want to try and win. If you're willing to sacrifice maybe not having the best team this year, but still having a solid roster and moving forward with that roster for the next couple years, you could explore the idea of maybe trading Deontay and Leonard Fournette and just getting the best value you can.
Yeah, I would trade him for a first and a second if you could. 23 first and second.
Who?
Fournette
And Deontay, I would trade him for a 23 first and a 23 second.
I don't think you're getting both.
Then I do a 24. I do a 23
If
first
it's
and a
a
24 second.
if you could get a mid to early first for Deontay, I do that straight up for him for next year's only. If it's going to be late, then yeah, you should ask for a second. But I do think you could also do, which would be interesting because it would make you have to do another trade, unless if you're willing to just have a solid team that doesn't really do much, but will have a couple picks. Or we'll have one pick, but you could maybe package Deontay and Fournette and just go for a like straight up like. That's where you definitely could get a guy like Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, maybe a Breece Hall. If you really want to go all out, you can maybe try and do Deontay Johnson, Fournette, and a second. Maybe go out and get Jonathan Taylor. And then
I'll be realistic. If you are looking to squeeze value, you got to think of it this way. So if you want to trade Fournette and Johnson, I would go for a 23, a projected mid first. Because as it stands right now, if you like a guy like, I don't know, Jahmyr Gibbs, who as of right now is being projected middle of the first round, you're going to find a lot of running backs next year that could be in line for a heavier workload that's not necessarily in the top 5 of the draft, other than Bijan. But other than that, I think a first and maybe like a veteran receiver wouldn't hurt because you don't want to lose out completely on the receivers if you want to contend.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like just assuming. Yeah, go ahead, Steve. You're good.
I just had to caught my eye. He traded Pitts for Jacobs. Was that straight up?
No.
No, it was
okay.
He didn't give the specific.
No, you're good. I just saw that and I
hope
needed
not.
to know. I needed to know.
Yeah, I think that's a good trade for him though. Pitts and
No,
tight
it
end
was-
premium.
Pitts, you pretty much have to hold on to for.
Also, if you traded Deontay, I think trading Deontay and Fournette is your best route, and I think you're. Honestly, if I was you, I'd put your pride aside and I would do your best to suck this year because you have your own pick.
Well, I don't think he
Get
could
a-
suck.
Listen,
I don't think this team is that bad to suck.
I don't think it is either. But if you trade Deontay and Fournette for pick as much pick value as you can, then you get Jackson Smith and Jigba, or you get I don't know.
See, but that's the problem.
What's the problem?
I don't know if you're trying to get an early first next year. You would have to trade. It would be a 2-for-1. You're not getting.
No, I don't mean
early
trade for
first.
it. I mean if you trade
He has his
Deontay
own
and
first.
Fournette, your first is gonna be early because like
Yeah. Oh,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
I see
saying.
what
Yeah,
you're saying.
his first will be that early.
I don't know.
Plus he'll have another one to work with. Plus he'll have a couple 2 seconds or 1 second, depending on if he trades it.
Considering-
So
I
I
think-
think his own pick.
Yeah. You're increasing your own pick to hopefully get JSN or Bijan best case scenario.
Consider
get-
well, no, because it's super flex. So I mean, Jackson Smith is going to be the 4th pick, probably. Like right now, he would be the 4th pick.
I guess that's true.
It's not
Stroud and Young. Will
Yeah, that
they'll go early.
that's reasonable. I don't know. Bijan and JSN are so good though. So knowing you could get one of those players, I would be fine tanking for either one of them because you're going to be building your team around them for as long as your league is going for. Either one of them.
Let's put it this way too, because he did say boost his team, so I'm going to consider he's going the route of he wants to still contend this team.
Okay.
You could make a package of Deontay, Davis Mills, and Calvin Ridley, maybe if you can find a guy that likes those people. Maybe even, I don't know. I mean, you're pretty much Deontay is like an early first worth of value. Davis Mills, you probably, I don't know, in a 12-team super flex. What do you think? Like a second?
Yeah.
You think you could get a second for him? Yeah, probably. Calvin Ridley's probably worth a second, so you're trading like 2 seconds and a early first worth of value. You could probably maybe trade that, and even especially definitely if you throw in another actual second, you could probably trade that worth of value and go out and get someone like a top tier running back that I was talking about earlier, like maybe a Swift or something. Could it be risky? Yes, but I think if your starting lineup if your lineup stays healthy and you have Herbert, Stafford, Fournette, Swift, Elijah Moore, Ayuk, London, Chase Claypool, whoever hell the other guy or the last guy is, and Kyle Pitts, you have a chance of definitely winning.
Yeah. I mean, as you
I
said,
know I
also-
said
And
this.
Julio could be good too. You never
I
know.
know I said this last time, but is going the route of trading Kyle Pitts for a tight end downgrade and a running back to fill in for Jamal Williams a bad
No,
idea?
you can't do that because he just got Pitts. And he's still not
But
in a point where like I would get rid of one of my in my opinion, Pitts is his biggest asset besides Herbert. So he pretty much has two startup draft first round picks on his team with Herbert and Pitts. I think building upon those guys is something he should do, and that's why I wouldn't necessarily do that. Especially since his team is not really, I would say is like on the tier rankings, you have rebuilding, stuck in the middle, and contending. He's like if this is stuck in the middle and this is contending, he's like right in the middle of the two of them. I don't think he's really like in that crappy middle situation. I think he's more on his way of contending. He just doesn't really have the greatest depth, but I mean that's given in especially if this is one of your first couple years. But I do think you could pull off a package trade with Deontay, get a better running back, and I think the rest of your receivers can hold down four as long as they stay healthy.
no, I agree. But my question is, would you rather have Kyle Pitts or would you rather have like Dalton Schultz, Josh Jacobs, and like a second or a third in 2024?
I'd
A
rather
second
have
in
Kyle Pitts.
2024.
I'd rather have Kyle Pitts.
That's fair, but I think
For
if
tight
you
end
want to
premium,
win this
give
year,
me Kyle Pitts easily.
that's fair. I don't know.
Now-
I think it's a reasonable debate though. If you
You
want
traded
to win, then
Jacobs to get Pitts though is the thing,
oh,
and either
that's
way,
true.
one that and two, even if you're talking just a running back in general for Jacobs, I just think tight end premium, like the upside of getting receptions with Kyle Pitts is just so much better than Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is mainly more like, in my opinion, more of a touchdown dependent guy. I don't know. I think Pitts' numbers as a receiver like is way better. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna look at some of his numbers last year, but Pitts was averaging pretty much like 7-ish targets a game, pretty much. Getting about
I don't know. I think with the departure of Amari Cooper, you're going to see Dalton Schultz take a big step up and potentially be the second target in that offense. So
he will be.
I
I
wouldn't
just,
rule him out.
he will
But
be. I just don't think Pitts
I
is.
see the Kyle Pitts preference. I was just throwing it out there because clearly
Yeah.
it's a reasonable debate.
Now, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I know you touched upon trading for a guy like Saquon Barkley.
Mhm.
So if you are Pat in this case, you think Saquon Barkley's going to stay healthy. Are you trading? I'm just putting this together in my head. Keep in mind, Elijah Moore and a 23-second for Saquon and let's just say Jacoby Myers.
For me,
Kobe Myers.
That's just the throw. You could probably sub him out for like a second or
for
whatever.
me, I mean, it's not that that's a bad trade, but for me, no. Only because one, I like Elijah Moore a lot, and I think he's a good building block for this guy's team. And two, kind of like Steve was pointing out earlier, if he does that, then his four main receivers, two of them are Steelers. I don't think he needs that.
Okay.
I think Deontay's got to be the guy to leave on his team.
So if you are,
Okay.
so if you don't want to trade more, would you trade Ayuk in a second for Saquon?
No, well, yeah, that's actually a good trade. If you could get that, I
Because
think
I would smash that
no,
in
it
a
would.
heartbeat.
Okay,
That's a very good deal.
Ayuk in a second
I
for
have
Saquon. Yeah, why not? But I think I would rather just do Deontay for Saquon straight up if I could. Personally,
No.
I don't I don't
I don't
I
know
have a
If
question for you
if
guys.
someone offered me Deontay, I'm smashing.
unless
I
if you could
have a
do
question.
Ayuk. One second, if you could do Ayuk and maybe keep your 23 second and trade like Ayuk and maybe Davis Mills and consider that as a second round pick if the guy needs a quarterback for Saquon, then yeah,
Mhm.
screw it, why not? And then maybe I don't care, throw in a 24 third, who cares? If you could do that, then yeah, for sure, why not? But
I'd try to trade Jimmy.
I don't think Jimmy has any value
Jimmy,
though.
if he signs with the team, he'll have
Where's he
somewhat
gonna
of a
go?
value.
But anyway, Steve's question.
All right, I was trying to look it up real quick to see if it was fair. Deontay and London, since you're already relying on the whole Steelers offense and the whole Falcons offense, would you trade Deontay and London for a guy like Najee or a guy like JT if you could? If you
No,
could get JT, I'm doing that. London and
no,
Deontay
I
for
wouldn't.
JT.
Nah,
Your depth is
J,
already
J,
low. I think you're just screwing yourself over more in that case.
yeah, if I have JT, I'm still taking Taylor.
Yeah, I'd prefer the Taylor side by a lot. I just didn't know if you guys thought that was enough to get to
Najee.
that.
I prefer the Taylor side. It's just I don't know if I prefer it for this guy's team.
Yeah, no, I just didn't know if that was like a reasonable deal. I was trying to
So
figure
the
that
other
out
one
in
was
my head.
Najee.
Yeah, I'd be fine
So
with
it'd be Deontay and what else for Najee?
Deontay in London.
I'm taking the Deontay side easy. Drake London.
I think I don't know. I think his
That's a no brainer for me.
Let me see. What if it was like Najee in a 23 second?
I nah.
I don't know. That's
No,
just
I
not like
wouldn't.
Najee already
It's not
peaked in
worth it for
volume is
his
my
team.
issue.
In my opinion,
He doesn't even need an insane RB2. That's
That's-
what I'm saying. He
that's
could
a-
trade like
I
Ayuk.
agree.
If
First-
he trades Ayuk, he's not losing too
dude,
much.
he could even consider too if he really wanted to. What if he just traded like Deontay and Matt Stafford in a package and he got a good running back and a below tier quarterback? He'll just have to suffer with Davis Mills and the quarterback he gets in return at his super flex, which might not even be that bad. I mean, we're acting like Davis Mills might not be able to hold down that spot in Houston. I think he's definitely the starter this year, and he might be long term too.
Yeah, but I don't really see that doesn't benefit his team as much.
You could potentially trade Stafford and not get a quarterback back at all.
What
and
if
rock with Davis Mills?
let me give a trade. I'll think of a trade package, and you can explain what you think. But I'm gonna think of what I'm gonna offer you guys a trade, and you let me know what you think. Let's see. You can keep talking on what you think though, and then I'll get mine.
I think Ayuk in a second might be the best thing if he likes Saquon.
I feel like Deontay 100% has to go. We've established that for sure. But the
does he
question,
really though? He's
I don't-
probably gonna leave, or the Steelers won't resign him.
that's true.
I
But
would
I
hang on to
also,
Claypool, though.
I'm not. They're both elite options in dynasty leagues, but I'm not a fan of relying on the whole Falcons passing offense, especially if you think you can win.
He's got. Oh yeah, he's got Pitts. So I'm blank for a moment.
You're good.
All right. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
about let's?
But yeah,
let's-
if you're relying on Deontay and Claypool both on the Steelers and London and Pitts both on the Falcons, I'm not a big fan of that. But
Yeah.
that's just that's like a little nitpick thing.
let me
I'm not a
ask if
fan
you
of
would do
it
this.
either. But if he's trying to if he's realized, all right, I'm not going to contend next year, but like next year I want to contend, I can see it. But
Let me ask if you would do this. Would you trade Stafford and Deontay Johnson for a haul of Saquon and either or of like let's say Justin Fields or Zach Wilson?
no,
Wait, say that again.
Nope.
Matt Stafford and Deontay Johnson for Saquon Barkley and let's say either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson.
If it was Trey Lance, then yes.
I would maybe consider Fields, but even then, like I'm not. No.
If it was Trey Lance, I'd do it. What about you?
All right, let's say he would have to
It
give
would
up
be
more.
Stafford and Deontay.
Stafford
for
and
Trey Lance
Deontay
and
for
Saquon.
Lance and Saquon.
He would have to give up more, but
I'd say you throw in
I
a
don't think
second or a
that.
third.
all right,
I
let's
don't
say
even think he'd have to give up that much more.
let's say
No,
this.
that's
Stafford,
probably a trade I'd look for if you could.
Stafford,
I don't know your
Deontay, and a mid-second. We'll say his second's a mid-second for
Okay.
Saquon and Trey Lance. Would you do that?
I'd ask for a third back out of it in any year.
I think I'd do it because he gets a stack with Ayuk and Lance, and he gets Saquon, and his quarterbacks would still be fine. Lance and Herbert is fine, and even if Lance
That
sucks,
is.
you still have Davis Mills, who's fine.
I agree.
I think I'd do it
Yeah.
even if I get Zach Wilson or Fields. I still think your quarterbacks are fine, and you're getting an upgrade at running back, and your receivers are still fine to hold down Fort. Plus, you're still keeping your 23 first, which is, if you're not going to win, probably the most important thing you could do.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't
I
mind
like
that.
that.
And then
Yeah.
next, I think he could consider maybe trading Ridley for a guy around the same tier as him, like that's playing now that he likes high upside wise.
Yeah.
Who that could be, I'm not sure. Kind of depends how high people value Ridley. But I mean, you could.
I wouldn't trade Ridley now.
Yeah, you're
There's no
trading him
point.
at like beyond floor value.
I mean, what if
Yeah.
he
You trade him when he's about to return?
what if he explored trading Ridley and let's say maybe a third or two for a guy like, I don't even know. We'll say
DJ Shark.
we'll say like a Jahan Dotson, Kadarius Toney, maybe even Amari Cooper and Michael Thomas.
If you could, yeah, for sure. But
I would consider. I would consider Tony or
I'm
Amari
not
Cooper.
huge on Tony.
Yeah, I mean that.
But
Tony
he has
really
more.
had that one game.
He could
last
help
year.
him more than Calvin Ridley did if he's trying to win this year.
Yeah, but
What
I'm
do you
curious to see
think?
his value.
What do you think this guy would have to give up to get Rashad Bateman?
A lot. I mean, Bateman has way more value than these other receivers I just named.
Personally, even if his first was projected mid to late, I'm not giving that up for Bateman. Next year's
Neither am I.
receiving class, like you
It's
can
insane.
like you can get like a Jordan Addison, maybe even a Keyshawn Boutte. They are light years better prospects than Rashad Bateman was.
Bateman was a good prospect
Agreed.
coming out of college, though. No,
He was,
No,
but he
Bateman's
wasn't.
being valued at a ceiling, which I dislike, but I just wanted to know what you guys would think.
Bateman was what, a third round pick?
I really don't remember.
Let me look this up. Rashad Bateman.
You got it. I don't
Both
remember.
those
to be
guys I
honest.
mentioned are
I
probably.
don't think he
first round
was. He a
picks.
third? I don't know.
He was the 27th overall pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought he was at least a second.
Oh, it was a first.
I didn't want to say he was a
Yeah, that's
first, but he was a
crazy.
first. Yeah, I thought so.
I
He was
know that.
he was a highly valued prospect coming out of college. Like people had him
Yeah.
in redraft. I
I liked him until he went to the Ravens.
What year was he a rookie? Last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 22.
Yeah, I liked him as a prospect, but then once I saw him go to the Ravens, I'm like,
I mean, let's see. The Dynasty rookie mocks last year, 2 years ago, Bateman was, this was a stacked class, but Bateman was still very highly valued.
I also, for this guy's
Wait, where
team,
is he in
I think
this? Was he
Brian
not
Robinson is
2021?
very undervalued.
Oh, wait.
Brian Robinson will definitely get a fair share of touches. So him or Khalil Herbert, if hopefully this doesn't happen, but David Montgomery goes down, could easily fill in for Jamal Williams, who could take a big step up if Swift goes down.
Wait, what year was
Yeah.
Bateman in Dynasty, like rookie
I think
drafts?
2 years ago.
So 21?
21. Yeah.
Why
I
can
think so.
Okay, well,
20.
I gotta find another website because this one's not even showing his name, and there's no way these guys were drafted ahead of him. Bateman
I
was
don't know.
a high
Do we
value.
have any final thoughts, Kevin?
Yeah. Honestly, really just kind of to sum it up. If you want to contend, consider trading a receiver for running back. Just generally that structure.
Yeah. I
Go
think
either route.
I don't think you can really suck with this team. So I would do what you could to make a push towards a championship. And I think Deontay and Fournette need to be off your team by the start of the season, or at least by week 4.
I don't think Fournette necessarily has to be because he's still trying to win.
Yeah.
So I would keep
I
Fournette.
don't think
But I
Fournette's
mean,
that
that's
bad.
I guess if you want to win, then yeah, but I don't see him being valuable after this year.
That's fair enough.
I
I don't know,
think
if you just pick a direction.
last
You're
thing
kind
I'll
of like
say
stuck in the
is
middle.
what I would do is I'm trading either Deontay alone for a running back or Deontay and Stafford to get a quarterback, a lower tier that you like, and a running back as well in that deal.
Yeah.
If you can do that, and then maybe package, like I said, Ridley and other guys like smaller or picks, like small picks, just to get a receiver slightly a tier above Ridley that could help you this year. If you can pull off that other trade, then I would do that because then you round out your team a little bit nicer. But that's what I would do. Worst comes to worst, honestly, you could just sit it out and just keep this team for a year. But then you're pretty much not expecting to suck and you're not expecting to win. So I
Yeah,
don't know,
no,
it's
you're
tough.
in no man's land, so you need to make a move to get out of that. And I think the move we talked about with a Saquon and a Trey Lance type of value, I obviously don't think you can get that exact trade done because we don't know your league. But if you could get something around the value of Trey Lance and Saquon for the Deontay and Stafford, then I would do that.
Yeah.
Saquon's gonna have a good year, I think. His upside is very good to take a chance on to trade Deontay, in my opinion. But anyways, that's my final thoughts. Anything else from you guys?
No,
Okay,
that's
well,
good for me.
I think that's gonna be it. If you want to be featured in the team evaluations, I know we got some more videos to record after this one, and we still have a ton to
We
record
have a
in
lot.
previous days, but a couple more tonight maybe. Uh, if you guys want to be featured in a team evaluations episode, just DM us on Instagram to get put in the list as soon as possible. Look for the post on our Instagram that is in black background, blue font that says "Send us your dynasty teams." Has all the information that we're gonna need from you. Just send us all that, and we can feature you in an episode. That's gonna be it for all of us. And peace.
Peace.